Have you ever looked for an app to do your tax return? If you live in the United States, there's a huge chance you ended up on TurboTax, the app that 100 million people use every year and pay between $100 and $250 to use. Well, the company behind TurboTax, Intuit, just laid off more than 3,000 people, 17% of its entire workforce. The stock dropped 20% in a single session, and it's already down 52% from its all-time high less than a year ago. For 4 decades, Intuit built an empire that today brings in $21 billion a year on one very specific premise: that taxes are too complicated for people to do on their own. And to keep that premise true, they spent more than $100 million paying politicians to make sure the government would never offer a free public alternative. And they won.
The paradox. In November, Intuit won the war it had been fighting for 20 years against the tax agency. And 6 months later, it's letting off 3,000 people because a completely different rival, one it never saw coming, was already wiping out its business from another angle. As always, at Walker, at the end, we'll go over the business lessons you can apply to your own project. And this case matters to you, especially if your business charges money to do something people think is hard.
To understand how Intuit got here, we have to go back to 1983. Scott Cook was 30 and working at Procter & Gamble as a brand manager, the person who decides how a product gets sold on the supermarket shelf. One day, he saw his wife paying bills by hand. Notebooks, receipts, a calculator, frustration. Personal computers were starting to enter American homes, and nobody had yet built a software to keep a household's finances. Cook went to Stanford, posted a flyer on campus, and found a computer science student named Tom Prue. In a shared apartment in Palo Alto, they built the prototype. And here's the fact almost nobody remembers. When they launched Quicken in 1984, there were already 46 personal finance products in the market. 46. Quicken was number 47. And on top of that, it had only 1/3 of the features of the competition. So how did it crush the market? Through one design detail. While everyone else was offering spreadsheets full of rows and columns, Cook went the opposite way. He designed Quicken's screen to look exactly like a real checkbook, the same one you already had on your kitchen counter. The user didn't have to learn anything new. It was what they already knew how to do, but on a computer screen.
Here's the first lesson. Keep it, because every company that beats better products repeats it. You don't compete by having more features. You compete by having less friction. The right metaphor sometimes beats any feature.
Back then, software was sold in physical boxes inside big electronics stores. Intuit didn't have the money to get into those chains, so they convinced Bank of Hawaii and other small banks to give Quicken boxes to their own customers. And within months, they were number 1 in the market. And in 1993, already consolidated, Intuit bought a company called Chipsoft for $225 million. The only thing they cared about was one product, TurboTax, an application that walked the average American step by step through their yearly tax return. And from that moment on, TurboTax became the golden goose. Why? Because in the United States, taxes work differently than in almost any other developed country. In Spain, the tax agency already knows what you earn and sends you a draft so you can accept it with one click. Not here. Here, every citizen has the legal obligation to figure out themselves what they owe, fill in Form 1040 plus dozens of attachments, and send it in every year by April 15th. If you get it wrong, you get fined. If you don't file, prison. That maze, kept complicated on purpose, is exactly what turned TurboTax into a goldmine. It offered to walk you through the maze for about $100. For most Americans, that was cheap. For Intuit, it was pure gold. Today, it controls 60% of the tax software market. But by the late 90s, a problem appeared. The government itself started thinking that maybe it should offer its own free tool, which made sense, since it already had every taxpayer's data. And for Intuit, that was an existential threat. In 1998, they hired a former government official to design the defensive play. The move was brilliant. Intuit and the other giants of the industry, H&R Block, Tax Act, proposed a deal to the IRS. We, the private companies, will offer our software free to low-income families. In exchange, you sign that you will never build your own free tool for general use. The IRS signed. And from 1998 until 2020, that agreement completely blocked any attempt by the American government to do what's done in Europe with a single click. For those 2 decades, Intuit spent more than $50 million hiring lobbying firms in Washington, companies whose job is to meet with politicians and convince them to vote for or against specific laws. That's called lobbying. H&R Block added another 50. Over $100 million between the two of them, just to keep the business protected by law. And this is where, in 2019, someone started pulling on the thread. ProPublica, an investigative magazine, exposed something dirty. TurboTax did have a real free version, required by that old deal with the IRS, but it was designed so nobody would ever find it. It was called Free Edition. ProPublica discovered that Intuit had inserted lines of code into the Free Edition page so that Google and other search engines wouldn't index it. If you searched free TurboTax on Google, it didn't show up. You had to know the exact URL. And even if you knew it, once inside, the website's design, what experts call dark patterns, visual tricks that push you to click where you didn't want, steered you to paid products, even if you legally qualified for the free version. The result? Millions of Americans legally entitled to file their taxes for free ended up paying $100 each. The FTC, the American regulator that protects consumers from misleading advertising, opens an investigation. 5 years later, in 2024, the FTC rules that Intuit ran deceptive ads in a deliberate, widespread, and prolonged way. It orders the company to stop advertising TurboTax as free when it isn't. And Intuit signs a $141 million settlement with the 50 states, $90 per head for the 4 million people deceived.
Up to this point, Intuit is the company that defended its business with a lioness, with lobbying, with dark patterns, with everything. But what's coming next can't be fought with lawyers.
Because while Intuit was signing fines and celebrating that the government had suspended its free tax filing plan forever, something invisible was approaching from the other side. Something it couldn't denounce, sue, or buy off. It was generative AI. While Intuit was celebrating its lobbying success, something else was growing in silence. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, free apps where anyone can ask anything, including questions about taxes. And without Intuit ever planning for it, Those chatbots started solving tax questions that only TurboTax used to answer. And to understand how the two threats fit together, you have to see them in order. It starts in 2024, when the government finally dared to skip Intuit and launched Direct File, a free public tool to file your tax return directly on the IRS website, with no middleman. Only in some pilot states, only for simple returns. But it was the beginning of the end of the maze that was feeding them. Almost 300,000 people used it the first full year, less than 1% of taxpayers, but enough for Intuit to panic. If Direct File expanded to every state and every type of return, their business model evaporated. They turned the political machine all the way up. In 2025, Intuit and H&R Block together broke their own all-time lobbying record. 4 million from Intuit, another 1.5 million from H&R Block in that year alone. And they pulled off the impossible. In November 2025, the new administration canceled Direct File for the 2026 season. 0 states, 0 filings through the IRS. Intuit celebrated it as its biggest political victory in 2 decades. But while they were popping champagne, the AI chatbots kept growing without anyone watching them. And 2 years earlier, there had been a very clear first warning that Intuit, busy with its lawyers, ignored. In February 2024, a Swedish payments company called Klarna announced that its AI assistant, built with OpenAI, was doing in 1 month the same work as 700 full-time human agents, and that customers were resolving their issues in 2 minutes instead of the 11 minutes before. The stock of Teleperformance, the biggest call center company in the world, crashed 29% that same day and hit a 7-year low. The market's message was clear. Any business living off people answering questions had its days numbered. The bill came due during the 2026 tax season, the one that just ended a few weeks ago. Intuit reported something that hadn't happened in 2 decades. Filings from lower-income users, the most price-sensitive ones, the ones earning less than $50,000 a year, dropped sharply, and the company had to cut its tax revenue guidance for the entire year. People with simple returns had learned to ask an AI for free instead.
What took 20 years to build? An empire on the idea that taxes are too complicated can be undone in 1 season. Because the complication isn't for Wall anymore. Now it's a question anyone resolves in a chat.
And here comes the final blow. On May 20th, Intuit announced 2 things at once: laying off 17% of its workforce, more than 3,000 employees, and signing multi-year partnerships with Anthropic and OpenAI, the 2 companies behind Claude and ChatGPT. The idea? To integrate their own AI inside TurboTax, so it answers tax questions like ChatGPT, but inside the product their customers already pay for. It's the dying company's bet. If it works, TurboTax becomes something new with AI in the engine. If it doesn't, they'll have paid hundreds of millions to their own executioners and gutted half of their own talent for nothing. And here we get to the 5 lessons you can apply to your business today.
First lesson: if your value is in managing complexity and not in eliminating it, you are vulnerable.
TurboTax didn't simplify taxes, it made them manageable. And as long as the complication existed, people needed it. But when a technology arrives that can eliminate that complication at the root, it eliminates you too. If your customer pays you because without you, this is hard, think today about what happens the day it stops being hard. Barriers built on the customer's confusion are the first to fall.
Second lesson, tricks to keep customers build up resentment, and that bill comes due the moment an alternative appears.
TurboTax's dark patterns, hiding the free version, pushing users to pay even when they qualified for free, brought in short-term revenue, but built up millions of customers who felt cheated. When AI showed up, they didn't just find an alternative, they found a moral reason to leave. If your retention strategy is built on friction, impossible cancellation windows, or surprise charges on the bill, the day any substitute appears, you're left with nothing.
Third lesson, winning the wrong fight is a luxury you can't afford.
Intuit won the war against the IRS. 20 years, $100 million, direct file canceled. That same week, AI tanked their stock by 20%. They spent 2 decades protecting themselves from the enemy they saw in the press, while the real threat was growing somewhere else where they couldn't even denounce it. For an entrepreneur, the question isn't, who is my obvious competitor? It's, what shift in the market could make my entire sector irrelevant?
Fourth lesson, pivoting toward the thing that's threatening you can be the only way out, but nobody guarantees that works.
Intuit is signing with Anthropic and OpenAI now because it knows it has no other option. If AI is going to eat its business, the only thing it can do is offer that AI itself before a rival does. But it's paying hundreds of millions to its biggest threats, and at the same time, firing the human talent that actually understands its own customers. For anyone facing a disruptive technology, ignoring it is certain death. Embracing it is probable death. The difference is moving in time.
And we come to the last lesson, the positive one, the method that made Intuit great at the start, and that they seem to have forgotten.
In 1989, Scott Cook started doing something strange. He would wait inside big electronics stores until someone bought Quicken and ask permission to follow them home and watch them use the product. He called it "Follow Me Home." His engineers spent entire afternoons in real kitchens watching customers use the software, finding out exactly where they got stuck and what frustrated them. Cook said it plain: we don't learn from what customers tell us. We learn from what they do when they aren't being watched. For an entrepreneur with a small business, the lesson is doable tomorrow. 1 hour watching a real customer without you guiding them is worth more than a whole month of structured surveys. And almost nobody does it.
And while Intuit desperately searches for the AI that will save them, maybe they should start by doing what they already knew how to do. Walk out of the office, call the customer, and look them in the face.